what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoyed it. Something that I found to be a bit interesting. We were just talking about Harold Perkins yesterday and talking about Harold Perkins, or I think this was the last week actually, but basically discussing Harold Perkins being on the inside and how he's not just going to be like traditional inside linebacker, right? You're not just going to stick him there and leave him inside. Third down, he'll definitely be entering more off the edge pass rush situations. I'm sure they're going to get creative in interior pass rush as well. Like the bottom line is, or the idea would be, Jake, that by putting him inside more, that he actually becomes harder to game plan for than if you're just consistently bringing him off the edge or even in that kind of nickel backer role that we saw him in some last year. And I do find that to be a pretty interesting idea. And plus, like, you still have a lot of guys on the inside. I mean, you obviously have Spates. You've still got Weeks, who had some really good moments last year. You still had Greg Penn, who we were highly critical of, but did flash towards the end of the year and looked like somebody who was improving. So
yeah.
I guess I just want to get it out there that people, when you hear Harold Perkins is playing inside, don't think he's just going to be like every single down just lined up as a traditional middle linebacker.
I can tell you just from my experience now, he can wreak havoc off the edge. Without question, we've seen him do it. He'll probably do it at times next year. But for me, I would rather block somebody that's coming off the edge, because if I take away the inside, then there's only one way you can go. Now, you can still win, right? You can still win, and you can still be the best athlete. You certainly can do that. But when you're coming from the middle, and it's why you always hear me talk about Patrick Willis, you didn't know where he was going to end up. Now, he would start as a stack backer, but he could come in the A-gap, which was a son of a gun. Certainly, if you were in gun, he could come in the B-gap. He can start right there in the A-gap, loop around, and you got down, and around by the Mike linebacker, and you're trying to shift through all of that stuff to find him, and, oh, yeah, he's faster than you, and so he's already past you on your edge, and he's going to sack the quarterback. So I completely understand what they're saying there, because it's going to give you more issues, and if you have Harold Perkins ending up on a back, there's not a back in the country that I would give the advantage in that matchup.
Yeah, if you rush the middle, you got a three-way go. Now, generally, you have more wash that you got to work through, right? But as Jake is talking about, I was about to say there are ways of scheming it up where you don't have to deal with as much potentially. So, I think that again, he's not going to just be some traditional inside linebacker, and like Kelly kind of alluded to, I think overall it makes it harder to defend him, harder to game plan against him, and easier to set him up for game-winning plays. I mean, to me, my favorite guy to watch rush the interior for middle linebacker is still Demario Davis. And Devin White's a lead at it as well in Tampa. But, like, if you watch the Saints and you watch Demario Davis, you see how much success he has rushing those interior A-gaps and all the different angles and everything that he comes from. And I feel like it's a very similar role to what you could expect out of Harold Perkins. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.